So if you stuck with us for the original video, welcome back. And if you're watching this in series, welcome to part 2. I assume this will be part 2. Let me just move this microphone a little bit. Now, what I need you to do first of all is grab your ESC, your flight controller, and all of your wiring back. Can I also just really quickly give a massive shout out to Flyfish? They sent me these tools last summer. Flyfish branded tools. I've used them pretty much every day since last summer and I've had zero problems with them. The TBS all-in-one thing that I was using was rounding screws. These are hardened, so they don't do that. These are really, really good. It's not a plug. Like I said, they was sent to me for free. But if I've used them for a year without any issues, virtually every day, then they are worth shouting out, I think, in my opinion. So we've also got the motors here, and Axisflying did kindly send me a spare. So let's first of all have a look at putting 3D print parts on, and these should just push in like this. You may need to just sort of angle it, and once you've angled it, just push it back down like that. And I think what we'll do is we'll go, so again, just angle it and push it, and then it'll just find its way in. It's a little bit short, but we're going to be putting screws through 2 of those holes. So the question is now, chat, do we go opposite here and here? In fact, yeah, that makes sense, and I'll tell you why. If we go opposite here, we then know which motor is which, don't we? So when we're installing the props and we go props out, we can use these as a guide. And for anybody that doesn't make sense to yet, bear with us, because it will. As we get through this build, this one's a bit tight. Okay, now we've got the GoPro mount, which also houses the GPS. Great design. A little bit disappointed that Axisflying didn't include a GPS. It just means you've got to source the right size, which not a massive issue, but a little bit disappointing. Grab yourself a motor first of all, and this is going to be a very easy process. A few things to note. Don't cut your wires until everything's installed. So we're going to install the motors, then we're going to install the ESC, then we're going to cut the wires, then we're going to solder the wires, then we're going to install the flight controller. So if you've got your flight controller, your ESCs, anything else sort of to hand, we just slide this over here like this. But don't stick it down just yet, is my advice. Try and keep them straight as you're installing them, because you don't really want any kinks or bends or anything like that. So my advice would be install it, and then if you want, stick it down then. But install the motor first. Sorry, my hand was over it. So my advice would be screw the motor in, then take this sticky off, and then move on to the next one. But don't cut your motor wires yet. You are a long way of cutting those motor wires. I'll go through the TPU print. Let me just. So I'm going to go through the TPU print. So we're just peeking out of the side. Okay, I'll do it with this one. Move them screws over here, get the motor, and then it's just a case. I'm trying to do this so you guys can see it. If anybody knows of a good overhead camera mount, let me know. Because I think it's probably time I got something like that. If I'm honest. The next job then is going to be soldering in your motor wires. And the best practice now the soldering iron is up to temperature. Make sure it melts it so we know that we've got enough heat. And just pre-tin these wires first of all. It just needs a little bit of heat initially. Take the coating off. And then we'll pre-tin this wire. And actually, let's pre-tin the others first and then pre-cut the others first because we're going to want to work up to that one. So the idea is that we're going to sort of loop it over like this. So we now know if that's that long, this needs to go a little bit shorter. Not too much shorter. I'll just double check that we're okay. And this needs to go shorter. This is one of the negative sides, by the way, of putting these wire guards on and sticking them down. Because now you've got much less flexibility to work with. But we can deal with it. So pre-tin this wire. We haven't pre-tinned the middle one yet, so pre-tin that, and then it's just a case of bending it into position. Not a fan of how little movement I've actually got here. Warm up the pad, push the wire through, and Bob becomes your uncle. The second wire, again, we're going to sort of go over the top. This is my favourite way of wiring ESCs. See, it is a little bit, and you're probably not going to be able to see it. Because of my hand. Oh, guess who didn't pre-tin that wire? So the idea, forgive me because like I say, I don't think you're going to be able to see it on these ones. A very good solder joint, so we'll just redo that. What we could do, just heat it up and just dab a little bit extra solder onto the top. And we'll just rework the pad, and then now it will give us better surface area to work into. It says. Actually a bit short here. Bear with me 1 second, sorry guys. So we're done. We've done the motors. Now we need to do the power and the ESC. My advice at this moment in time is just to keep your solder iron on. Let's have a look where this where this capacitor is going. You see, I would have again just does not fit into there, no matter how hard I push. So will that go into there? I've got to be honest, I don't know. And then the O4 should push it up. Well, let's go for it. We can only be wrong, can't we? So that needs to be cut back quite a bit. I'm not convinced though. I'm completely not convinced. I'll say that now, here on record. I'm not convinced that this is going to be right, but I've also noticed there's going to be an issue with the O4 as well. And I don't mean how we mount it. Let me just solder this in and I'll explain. So the biggest issue I can see, first of all, I'm not convinced that it's going to fit, but even if it does, the issue I've noticed is these are pigtail holes, and the O4 Pro does not come with pigtails, and this kit does not come with pigtails, so the antennas are not going to fit properly. Now we'll jerry-rig them in and we'll force them in and we'll do whatever we need to do to get this flying in the state it's in. But yeah. Yeah. That's all I can say really, just yet. Let's do these battery pads. So the next point in order is, first of all, turn off your soldering iron and move your iron out of the way so that you don't burn yourself or anything else. Make sure you've cleaned off any blobs of solder, which you probably saw me do a second ago. Clean them off your work surface and get yourself a smoke stopper. And we need to check that we've installed everything properly before we proceed, because if we then add more stuff onto it without checking, and we've got a problem. I'm not going to know where the problem is. It's going to take us longer to figure it out. Things. So let's just grab a battery. So we grab the battery, put it into the smoke stopper, and then we just plug it. And we saw that all 4 motors moved and made the tune. We are good to go. Okay, next job then is to get hold of your flight controller, and we'll do that in the next lesson. For anybody that's watching the premiere in the big long video, go and get your flight controller, because we're going to do that next.